This is Chandler Rose, and today I'm going to show you some techniques for reducing headaches with a couple of helpful props. I really like to use a yoga block for self-massage. I like to use the sides and the corners. It's a really good tool to have on hand. And then a therapy ball or tennis balls can work. A lot of people, they put these in a sock too if they don't have the flexibility to put them in the right position. So I'm just going to show you how I use these when I have a headache and how it can help you stretch out those muscles. This is also a great video to watch in addition to my first video where you don't need any props. I'm showing you more stretches and techniques for headaches. So you can always refer to that video as well if you don't have these props. A lot of times people have some sort of ball or even foam roller. A lot of these techniques are just about creating some stretch in the spine. So let's get started. All right, so I'm going to put my yoga block in the center of my mat. All right, so headaches, a lot of times, I was just in a seated position, so I'm going to stretch my legs out for a second. You want to make sure you're comfortable and not putting more stress on your body. So I'm just going to have a gentle bend in my knees, and then very carefully, you can even set your block to the side if you're not comfortable using it right away, and just roll back on your spine. And it's good to have your hair out of the way when doing these stretches, so if you can put it in a position where you're not laying on it. And then just simply giving your head a stretch like this first, just to kind of open up the back of the neck again. And I'm keeping my feet flat on the ground and my knees bent. It's almost like a sit-up without the actual sit-up part and just the stretch in the neck. And then after you have your head in a comfortable position, you can kind of experiment with where you want to put this block. But a lot of moms get headaches in their occiput, which are the muscles at the base of the skull that connect in and really support the head. So you can put this block in a way that you're using it as a sort of tractioning. So I have it in this position, and I'm just kind of sinking back, and this is kind of a reverse curvature of the spine, and it looks very subtle. And you might, if you have a very flexible neck, you might not feel this, but for someone that just needs a little pressure in the base of their neck, this is a good tractioning. You can also kind of inch your shoulders and your back down to give you more traction. And you just don't want to do it too hard because the block will tip a little. And then you can take the corners actually and kind of position them in different ways where you're just using it as a tool to gently stretch these occipital muscles in the back of the neck. And you just want to make sure when you're doing neck stuff that you're really breathing, because headaches are a lot about not enough breath, not enough oxygen. So you can position this block, and I love using the yoga block even more than something that rolls, because you can set it in a position and you can use your own body to roll on it as a tool. So I'm just taking that corner, and it's not digging in real deep. It's more just the posture of using the edges to work on those muscles. And then I'm going to set it on the other side and do something very similar. So I'm just rolling into it. And if you put the corner in just the right place, you can get the base of the neck as well. And you just want to make sure you're breathing. Maybe you want to keep your hands on your belly. Maybe you want them at your sides, but you really want to make sure your chest stays pretty open, because a lot of us that have headaches are kind of curved forward or closed, and so you really want to just think about the front of the body being open. And you can kind of just experiment with where this feels good, because if you move your feet up a little bit and sink your neck and back down and kind of inch your shoulders down, then this will create a good stretch. It also, what you're doing is you're bringing your chin towards your chest, which is oppositional for a lot of those headache causing muscles. And this actually compresses the thyroid, which helps with regulating metabolism. A lot of moms have some fluctuation with hormones, so much so that headaches can be a part of that. So even just the posture of compressing the thyroid, and you don't even really feel it here, but you just want to make sure your chin is close to your chest. And then very carefully take out the block. And you can do that same posture without the block, just by taking your hands again and compressing the thyroid. And then as you go down, you just want to gently roll your head all the way down to the floor. So now I want to show you some more techniques to open up these muscles on the side of the neck, the scalenes and the SCM, which is the one that kind of pops out if you turn your head. The sternocleidomastoid, also involved in lots of headaches. And I just wanted to mention there are definitely some topical natural pain relievers that are very good for any kind of tension or pain. One of them is called O2 Derm Relief, and it's actually topical oxygenated cream that you can apply. I also really like essential oils with an oil that you like. You want to make sure you like how these essential oils, you want to make sure you choose an essential oil that your body likes, so something that calms you. I mentioned lavender and peppermint before. Another really good salve is anything with hemp CBD oil. It's very good for inflammation and pain and works well topically. And magnesium spray, or some sort of topical magnesium, I find very useful for muscle cramping. So if you have one of those on hand, this would be a good time to get it and use a little self-massage oil or cream. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking my fingers and going up my neck and just giving myself some pressure with my fingers. And the front of the neck, typically, especially with headache people, it can be very tender. So just simply pressing in. So you also want to make sure you don't do too much on one side. So if your arm is getting tired, simply go to the other side and use the other hand and use your natural, organic pain relief salve or gel in here. And then next I wanted to show you that you can use a tennis ball also. Some people don't like using their fingers because they just, maybe you type all day, or maybe you're on a cell phone, or your hands are stressed. So using a tennis ball or a therapy ball can be a good assistant to you if you have headaches. So turn your head to whatever side feels best at this point, and I'm going to point out which muscles and kind of where to put this. But you want to make sure you're listening to your own body. So I'm going to work on these muscles, the scalenes, which I mentioned before. They also tend to refer down, so not just headache muscles, but if you're getting tingling in your hands or wrists or arms, these are good muscles to work on with the tennis ball. And so these muscles kind of start up here near the ear and connect into the spine and then twist down, and you have all this fascia and these nerves in here. I'm just going to move my necklace. But this is where you want to be working with your tennis ball. And this is different than just rolling on it, so it might be new. So don't do too much pressure. These muscles can get very sore from massage. So you want to go lighter. You want to create space and opening, but not more pain or tension in your body. So I'm going to take my my tennis ball, and I'm going to just give myself some pressure like this, and you can even roll it with your fingers all the way down to the clavicle, and you can hold it there. And then up towards the ear. Maybe after a few moments there, you just switch to the other side, or just rock your neck and your head a little bit. You can also take your head up, make sure those muscles are staying nice and relaxed. You want to create more length in the spine. So if you are someone that does this with your chin, a good way to start these techniques is to think about bringing your neck down towards the ground and your chin down towards your chest. And that will create a more healthy position for your spine and help your neck when you're working on it. So I'll show you that one more time. So I'm taking that tennis ball, and you can either push in and feel that resistance. These muscles are very strong. So if you're someone that gets a lot of headaches, you might want to use a little bit of pressure here, a comfortable medium pressure. And I'm doing circles in spots that feel tight and tender. And then I'm stretching down towards the clavicle with the position of this. And you can even touch in on these points in your pec muscles, because a lot of times those are really tight too. You just want to be careful of that clavicle bone. You never want to push too hard on your spine or your bones. You always want to make sure you're working on soft tissue. So never work directly on a joint, never work directly on the spine. Massage is for the muscles, and the spine and the bones will respond when the muscles relax. So this will really help you if you're kind of a chronic person that gets vertebrae out of alignment. This is a really good way to gently loosen these muscles. And I would say try to spend equal time on both sides, but if you're right-handed or very right dominant, say you carry a bag on one side all the time and you might have more tenderness on that side, then it's good to focus more on that side. So we've done some good work with the tennis ball. I'm just going to show you some good massage points in the face and the scalp, which can be a really good routine for yourself if you have a headache or you're one that gets them. So you want to make sure your scalp is really comfortable. So go ahead and take your hair down if that's something that you need to do. And then you can start just by, you want to use the pads of your fingers and thumbs. And you can do one hand and let the other hand rest, or you can do both if that feels most effective. I find that for me, I get a lot of tension around my temples and my ears. This has a lot to do with eye strain as well as thinking. You know, if you have a project you're working on and you're really focused, you really need to get out of your head and just back into your body. I would say, close your eyes and slow your breath. Make sure this is a very relaxed position. Self-massage is kind of funny because it's hard for me to get people to practice this, but I really notice when you try it, you'll see the benefits because you're just gonna feel so much better. And people think that you need to have someone else work on you to feel better, but really, if you can work on yourself 5 to 10 minutes a day, your muscles are going to feel looser. You'll have more mobility, more range of motion in your neck and head, and that will really help with getting out of that headache space. So I'm taking the pads of my fingers and I'm going around the ears, and you can go into the hair, and you kind of want to almost like scrub the scalp a little bit, and the sounds of the hair follicles while you're working on them is, kind of like that white noise sound. It's very relaxing. You can take your thumbs and go all the way around the ears. You can also, some people are really deep thinkers and they feel a lot of tension at the top of their head, at the crown. So you can use the pads of your fingers there. For me, the two places that I like to focus the most, you can even just take 2 fingers on each side and do circles in your temples. Another good way to get your body out of a pain cycle, which is when your body is giving you a message that there's pain and you're basically trying to communicate. So I'm trying to create a new pathway that works on the other way of where the pain cycle is going. So for instance, when you have headaches, you're getting this message that you have pain here. So if you are pulling in the opposite direction, you're pulling that pressure away, you're moving that blood away, a lot of times you can get yourself out of that pain cycle. Same with the temples. Maybe you want to do one circle on one side that's in one direction and then one the other way, or the same. Maybe you need that same kind of pressure on both sides. Just giving yourself pressure in different directions is also a good way to gently manipulate the bones that make up the head and scalp. There's this amazing fluid, this interstitial fluid that runs between these skull bones, and if you can give them enough pressure to change the direction of that message, that headache message, then you can help yourself really relax these muscles and get out of that kind of feeling, that tension feeling. So I'm just using my thumbs and going around my temples and around my ears. You have all these muscles that make up your face and your scalp. And then going back to these points here, this really helps with breath. You'll notice your nasal passages will open up. I really like to use a salve with tree oils. Tree oils help with breathing. Idaho blue spruce is one of my favorites. Pine is really nice if you're not sensitive to it. Any of those tree oils will really help open up the natural pathways for breathing and the lymph, which really helps with your immune system and fighting different things that you might be exposed to. Also, it's good to note a few points in the jaw. If you're a clencher, maybe you clench at night, so this is a good thing to do before you go to bed. And I'm just dragging my fingertips down the jaw and doing circles, and it's reminding the jaw that it doesn't need to work. Doesn't need to work at night. It doesn't need to work if you're resting. The last 2 points I want to mention again are these points just here. So it's just above the bridge of your nose and then up. I'm pushing up towards almost my eye socket, but of course be careful of your eyes, and you also want to be careful if you do have oils on your hands, because the eyes are very sensitive to essential oils. So maybe wipe off your hands before you work on these points, or work with an oil that you know doesn't bother that area. And what I'm doing is I'm just using my pointer fingers and pushing up and then out through the brows and then down. And you can do that a few times. Even taking one simple stroke like that and doing it, just 10 times, and that's maybe your little face massage technique, and finding one that works for you. Maybe it's just pulling up through the third eye again or pulling out. Finding a technique that gives you a sense of feeling like there's opening in the face because that will help with headaches. So I'm gonna sit back up and touch in on a couple more tips for helping you with headaches. So one other tip or practice that I use every day to help me stay out of being vulnerable for headaches or neck pain is taking a hot bath. I really believe in the power of just having that hot water. You can add Epsom salts or Hawaiian sea salts or Dead Sea salts. Some sort of salt will really help everything relax deeper. So for example, I like this Luna detoxifying mineral bath. It's Epsom salts with eucalyptus oil, which is really good for breathing and increasing circulation, and it smells really amazing. Wow, that's really good. Very minty, this one. Any kind of tree oil is really good for a bath. Be careful with peppermint. Don't put peppermint in your bath. You will learn your lesson really fast. It's very cold on your skin, so be careful with that oil. All the rest are pretty relaxing. So Epsom salts, really great in a bath. And if you don't have a bathtub, you can also soak your feet, because soaking your feet actually draws the blood down towards your feet and allows everything to circulate more effectively. That can also be a big helper for headaches, because you're going with your blood, you're creating blood flow in the opposite direction, and when you have a headache, you really want your blood to go down towards your feet. So doing a foot soak is really good. All right, so I just wanted to show you a few really awesome items for pain relief and for headache relief and their differences. So these are Luna bath salts. They have eucalyptus in them, really good for breathing and soaking. They're also super minty. Yeah, very good for creating more space in your nasal passageways. And then I wanted to compare these two that I talked about earlier. So I have the O2 Derm Relief, which has no smell, and it's good for topical relief. And then I have the Real Purity if you like something with a lot of essential oils. Both really helpful for muscle tension. And then magnesium is, a lot of us are lacking in magnesium, so you can use this topically too as a spray. You can also get this in a variety of different topical salves. Magnesium is awesome for muscle cramping, super helpful. And then I wanted to touch base on this progesterone cream. This is actually progesterone that comes from yams or sweet potatoes. So it's not an animal hormone, which I think is cool. And a lot of us are really lacking. So if you have a lot of headaches related to hormonal times, you can try the progesterone cream. So with progesterone, a good way to test it is just to smell it. And if your body is really attracted to that, then a lot of times that's your body giving you the message that it wants it. With anything that contains hormones, I say don't use it every day. There's some instructions on the back. It'll tell you to take a week off or just use a little bit in soft areas like the inside of the arm. And a lot of moms call this the happy cream because getting a little progesterone actually helps balance so much estrogen in our world. So I'm a big believer in a natural progesterone as a helper. This is a natural sunflower seed oil that I've infused with geranium, which is an essential oil that's very good for depression or anxiety. Not everyone loves geranium, so again, you want to smell it and listen to your own body, and if you like it, then you probably do need it. Sometimes, if you don't like it, you need it, but you just have to listen to yourself about it. I also make a variety of topicals and body care products that have organic ingredients. These are bath salts that I've infused with pine, rosemary, lavender, very good for sleep. And they also are infused with hemp CBD, which your body will take in what it needs and let go of the rest. Any kind of topical that you can feel. Sometimes you'll feel a sensation, sometimes you won't. Arnica is one that is very popular but doesn't offer any sensation. But it's still a really good natural anti-inflammatory. So it's good to have one of those options that you can go to if you're getting a headache or if you're feeling back pain. Rub a little on and give it 20 minutes to an hour and see what happens. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you'd like to check out my full course where I teach some techniques that you can use with your kids or with babies, you can find this full course on wellnessplus.tv or watch for free on Amazon Prime. Thank you so much for watching.
We at Wellness Plus specialize in all things health and wellness, ranging from yoga and fitness to massage and ASMR. Whether you are looking to target specific areas of tension or want to enhance your general self-care routine, we provide the tools you need to feel better, look better, and live better. We have courses for every level, whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned pro. Our courses provide a wide range in difficulty to accommodate your evolving flow. Wellness Plus is available on Amazon, which you can stream from your home on your phone, tablet, or TV. Join Wellness Plus today and get your first 7 days free.